it's Hannah Lynn with The Full Color Life, and I am with my friend Jamaica West, the artist.
Hello everybody. I have a really big forehead. Sorry guys. You can see yourself on the camera and you just realize, man, like there are some features that are just.
That's okay. I don't know why I split my hair down the middle today, but I did. I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Yeah.
You know, the first time that I did a vlog was of one of your shows.
I remember a young lady.
Yeah. That was fun. Everybody was there. Was Propaganda there?
He was around, and KB
just hanging
and
out.
Natalie Lauren were there.
Yeah. You were singing.
I was doing music. It's crazy. I've been doing this for a long time, but I just haven't found anything that I felt like I really wanted to like confidently push and say, okay, this is ready. Mm-hmm. The Grammy category for spoken word is like an insult. If you go on the Grammy category, the people that they have as their entries are like people who are literally reading books or
so
doing voiceover work, and people who are actually poets. And so it's an insult because it says you guys really don't think that there's enough quality poetry to give us our own actual category. No, spoken word combined with music and combined with other elements can be something that people want to hear. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of resources. We're going to do it.
Yeah, everything's from memory when you're doing poetry, so it's not like you're reading a script or anything like that.
No, and then it's like I don't really have to depend on anyone else other than, unless I go to the studio. I'm just like, can you just press record?
Yeah. That button right there.
Just hit that button. I'll hit it for you. Like,
right.
But with
music,
it's like, can you mix and master? And can you mix and master well? Okay, that wasn't the right tone. Okay, let's go back.
What's like the overall theme for your music right now?
So, I'm a believer. I consider myself a Christian, right?
Yeah.
But my music and my art isn't necessarily like gospel.
Okay.
Right? Like the message isn't to save someone. Mm-hmm. The message is to say like, listen, we are all jacked up. We all got issues. We all be looking in the mirror like, oh my God, my head is so big. Or like, what am I gonna do about this pimple? We all have things that are plaguing us. Social justice issues, racism, sexism, misogyny, Me Too, like all these different things that are going on. No one's exempt from the consequences or the reactions of them. And so I think there's power in being able to relate and to be able to create an art form or create art that makes people feel like they're not alone.
Yeah. And
two, like there's power in saying like, we'll get through this. Like we're strong enough to get through this. And you don't have to be, I don't have to necessarily say like, hey, Jesus, to do that, To relate. I want to relay that through excellent art and just being myself. I always end up saying things I shouldn't say.
You're edgy.
I am, and I think I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm just like, old people, they say whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
I think I'm an inner old person, and I just
don't care anymore.
Crucify me. Just do it. Yeah.
And I like what you're saying too about like your music and the goal of it. It's not, you're not going for CCM.
No.
You're not going for gospel. Right now, you're just wanting to relate. Being real, for some reason, is hard. God. And it's just, that's why I respect you so much, like, for putting yourself out there and being a Christian, but still being like, this is where I'm at, man.
This is exactly
this is me.
There's a place for the preaching, but there's also a place to relate. And in my DMs are so many people who say like, I would never say this in public, but I'm struggling here. They are afraid to say it out loud, so they just message me. And it's because of what's happening in private is why I do what I do in public. It's for them. And this has a lot to do with branding, which I know you understand because you're like branding expert.
Yeah.
Branding myself as someone who feels like we're friends. Like, if you scroll down my timeline on Twitter, like, I want you to feel like I'm talking to you like we're friends. And I think that kind of opens things up. So, like, if I post a risky post, or if I say something like, oh, I'm struggling with this, people feel comfortable enough to, like, DM me and say, hey, girl. And they approach me like that, like, hey, girl. Like, we're friends. Like, okay, hey. Girl, I really want to commit suicide. Or, you know what? I'm really struggling with my body image right now. I'm really struggling with whether or not I even think I'm a Christian right now. Like, those kind of posts, right?
Wow.
So it's like,
well, if this is how, this is what I'm getting for being real, like, I'm gonna keep being real.
I'm gonna keep being real.
Yeah. Because
it's better than what I was getting 5 years ago when I was like, I was that person. I was the one who's like preaching, and again, there's a place for that.
Yeah.
But when I was that person, what I got was like a lot of like inauthenticity. It felt like living a lie. It felt like I had this mask on all the time. And so I began to learn that that necessarily wasn't my lane. But more so my lane is this, like being honest about where I am with people and relating and connecting with people and building relationships, and us pursuing God from there, you know?
Yeah. I think it's so much more refreshing because you're coming at it as like, I'm human.
Yeah.
And here's God.
Yeah.
Let's relate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why your audience is millennials, because I think that's what we have a problem with religion or organized religion, with church. I think sometimes it doesn't feel like real.
Yeah.
Because we have this like wall up to where we're saying, I don't know, why is it so hard for us to be human?
Why is it so hard for us to like admit that we're struggling with something or we don't understand something? It's like,
when you think of the person who you want to reach or who would be your audience, who is that person?
Like, I would say my audience is like millennials. I mean millennials, but if I were completely honest, I was at Legacy Conference last summer and a lot of older women.
Really?
Yes.
Loved your stuff.
And I was just like, are you sure me? Did you hear what I said about this, and that?
Yeah.
Oh, you heard it. You loved it?
Not what you expected.
Not what I expected.
Interesting.
And all kinds of women. All kinds of women.
Okay. Hey, it's Women's History Month. I know. You got so excited when we were starting to talk about that.
Yeah. I love women, and I think I'm a fighter for like the underdog. I don't know why. I've just always been that person. And one thing I know for sure is that from the beginning of time, women have been oppressed and saw as lesser than.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, when in reality, don't be mad, but we're so much smarter, like in better in so many ways. And I love and respect men, so like I'm not one of those people who are like, we hate men, but like I want to see women affirmed and empowered, and want to see the passion, like God-given passion inside of them come forth and come out. And that's why I just love global women's rights, right? Because it's like not just about women in America, like women in Pakistan, women in India, women in Rome, women in Africa. Like, I'm intrigued by us. I think we're amazing, and I think that we have so much to offer the world. The fact that we give birth, we give life, we have all we need is a seed, and we can nurture it. And that's not just physically, like that's emotionally and mentally. Like we bring forth so many visions and are so just multifaceted beings. And I hate to see how we have been oppressed and over-sexualized and abused and manipulated. But the fact that we have been resilient through it all, through the ages, like speaks of the power of God. So like, that's why I'm so excited about Women's History Month. And look, we Beyonce all month. We slay.
That's gonna be your track.
We Beyonce. So that's what I'm on.
I love that. I think you're right on about like we need to be celebrating women as women, like that we can have kids, and you know, like literally we're the ones who like bring life, you know, and be proud of that.
Yeah.
Instead of like putting that down. And I think too, so much has to do with culture and how that side of things of like being the nurturer is looked on as weak.
Yeah.
And I think that has so much to do with like how we view women in our culture, which is so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong. And it's been cool to see this year shift. I mean, really.
Oh, there's so much tea.
I mean, Hollywood, anything with Hollywood has just been, I mean, that's where a lot of horrible stories have come out, but at least they're coming to surface. You know, I think a lot of times it looks dark before the dawn comes, right? And I think, I mean, I'm in news, like radio, and I hear all these stories, and sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. But just the fact that we're talking about it, I think, is a good sign.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's an amazing sign, and I think that, when I started seeing the stories pop up of like multiple women coming forth, like as sad as it was, I was so happy because I'm like, yes, like we're not afraid anymore. And even if we are afraid, we're pushing past the fear. And
oh my gosh, Kesha,
like her performance.
I love her music. Yes. And her music, I think, is so much, I mean, it's not, like, I liked her as an artist before, but now I feel like there's so much more power to her sound.
Yeah.
And I think that it's born out of facing the fears, going through something that was horrible, and coming out stronger on the other end.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's so deeply respected by me and by
other women
for that.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being abused or manipulated by someone with power, and more power than you, because they get to vent and they get to live freely while you live silenced and muzzled. So to see someone rise up from that and overcome is just like,
it's a really cool process to be able to watch.
Yeah.
And especially when there's art being made out of that.
Yeah.
What's the nonprofit that you're working with in India?
Right. So it's called Project Beautiful, and it's actually like, it's connected to Love International, which used to be Tiny Hands.
Yeah.
And so Love International is a huge nonprofit that works in every field of like injustice, social, racism. They were raising funds for the hurricanes last year, and like, they're just amazing. But Project Beautiful specifically works in India, Nepal, Mongolia, and a few other places to intercept the lives of young women who would be at risk of being trafficked. So like, let's say this is a hodgepodge for trafficking young women, they would have someone here who, and so like, if a young lady was walking by, they would be sure to redirect her and get her out of the way.
Wow, okay.
It's super powerful. What they're doing with me here in America is putting on events, spoken word events. Yeah, so like, I'm getting together a lot of different artists, poets, and hopefully a musician, painters, to like put on an event to raise awareness about human sex trafficking, and to also like get people on board.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately the power of art, is that it moves. And so we're trying to move people and to inform them as well. So that's a big thing we've been working on.
That's really exciting. When do you think this event's gonna start taking place?
Hopefully May.
Okay, I think we should wrap this up.
Okay, because we would talk all day.
I know, we really would. This is Jamaica West, everyone. Thanks for watching The Full Color Life. Join me next time for a great interview of people who are doing great things in fashion and art.